Hi friends! In today's video, I am going to be answering a question that we get asked very often, and that is, why is it that we homeschool? So make sure to stick around and watch. So I love when I get asked this question because this is a question that we answered before we started homeschooling. So we already had that foundation, those core reasons why. So when people ask me why is it that we homeschool, I have no problem answering the question, especially when they ask me, like, as a teacher. I've been asked this question at work. I've been asked this question anytime we're out somewhere, or I might share with somebody that we homeschool. Even here online, I get asked that question a lot. So I did write a blog post about this a couple of weeks ago, and today I am sharing it to you in this video format. Now, before I go into our reasons why, I feel like I have to give a disclaimer, okay? I personally do not believe that homeschooling is the best choice for every family. I am not one of those people. I am not. And people might be mad at me for that, but that's okay. I believe that families are different. They have different needs, they have different wants, and they are in different seasons of their lives. So homeschooling is not the answer to everybody's educational needs. Okay, and we live in a country where we are very blessed with having education available to everybody. So, you know, to some families, public education is the only option they have, and that is okay. They should not feel judged or wrong for choosing public education. To other families, they're blessed to have a private school education. I could never afford private school. Like, we tried looking into that before our kids started going to school, and that was, nope, that was definitely a no-go. We don't make that kind of money. There are charter schools, and my son has gone to 2 charter school. He went to a Montessori charter school when he was in kindergarten, and that was not a good fit for him. And then the other charter school that he went to, he liked so much better than the other one. But as a family, we initially had discussed homeschooling our children before they were born, and we had come to an agreement that in 3rd grade we were going to make that decision if homeschooling was going to be the best option, or having our kids just continue to go to school was going to be the best option. My husband has always been an advocate for homeschooling. He went to a private Christian school from 1st grade through 4th grade, and then he was homeschooled from 5th grade all the way through high school until he was done. And then after that, he went to college. He has always been a real big advocate for homeschooling because he was a product of homeschooling, and it was so great for him. And he is, you know, he had so many opportunities to just focus on the things that interest him. He always talks about how homeschooling really helped him just become who he is and not worry about anybody else. And he is so certain in the person he is. He always has been, ever since I've known him. So I love that. Me, on the other hand, I have gone through many public schools because we have moved around a lot when I was a kid. So I went to public schools in New York City. Then I went to several public schools in Puerto Rico. Then I came back to New York City and went to school there. Then we moved to Ohio, and I went to public school over there. So I've had different experiences in different areas in public school, and I myself became a school teacher and have been doing it for 15 years now. I taught my first 13 years as a 6th grade teacher, and then these past couple of years I have been focusing on what I initially wanted to do since the very beginning, which was work with English language learners. So I am an ESL specialist now, and I love my job. So with that being said, I love education. So we're gonna dive on in. What are the 5 reasons why we have chosen that homeschooling is the best option for our family? First and foremost, the main reason why we have chosen to homeschool our children is because of our faith and values. We want our children to really have a solid foundation on our faith and the values that we have in our home. We want to be able to educate them and teach them centered on those values that we hold. The Bible tells us, train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. To me, like, I've taken that to heart. I did not grow up in a Christian household. My husband did. So, there's so many views here based on our experiences. But our life is centered in our faith here in our home. And we want our children's lives to also be centered in our faith. Like, that is such a core thing for us. So we wanted to be able to provide them with an education that values their faith. When I was young and I decided to give my life to Jesus, and nobody pushed me to it. My parents didn't push me to anything because, again, I grew up in a non-Christian home. This was a personal choice that I decided to do. All through high school, I had to defend my faith. I had kids making fun of me because I dress modestly. I had kids questioning me constantly and telling me that what I was thinking or what I believed was not right or dumb. And, luckily me, I had made that personal choice by myself, and I had my head on my shoulders. I had that personal relationship with Jesus on my own, and I was able to withstand that. But I don't want my kids to have to go through that. I don't want them to constantly feel like kids are telling them that their faith is not the right one. And I'm not saying that's what happened to my children, because I never received any complaints from my kids about anything like that going on in school. However, based on our experience, we want our children just to have that faith centered, that they can grow those strong biblical roots, and we can foster that relationship with Jesus and teach them, the way that they should go. And then when they grow old, they can choose whatever they choose, but we tried our best. And, there are the comments that people say, you guys are sheltering your children. Yeah, you think? Have you seen the world we live in now? Yeah, I'm going to tell you that, I want to be able to choose when I talk to my children about certain things. I want to be able to decide what approach we want to have with our children in certain topics. Our second reason is individuality. Kind of goes along with our first one. We want our kids to really be able to feel free to be who they are, to work on the things that really interest them, to, if they are really interested in astronomy, then go at it, learn all you can learn about it and enjoy it and really foster what it is that they want to do. We want to be able to individualize their instruction, which I can tell you from a teacher's perspective, we try the best that we can to individualize instruction. I remember having 25 kids in my classroom, all at different levels, some with IEPs, some with not IEPs. It is really challenging for one person to meet every single need of those children every single time. That's a very challenging thing. Us homeschooling our children, our ratio goes down to 2-1. So it really does lend itself to just that individualized instruction. If our child needs certain help on a particular thing, we can really hone in on that, and we can quickly pick up and see what areas are they struggling in. If they master a certain area really quickly, we just move on. If they need extra help on a certain topic, then we might sit in that certain topic and for a while, and that's going to be what we're going to be working on. So we really like being able to individualize our kids' instruction and just foster their individuality so that they can be sure and know what is it that they want to do even as adults, without the constant external factors of constantly bombarding them, telling them how they should think, they should not think, what is it that they should do, what is it that they shouldn't do, okay, let's block off all that noise. Our third reason is family time. This is something that we really do value. And homeschooling really has helped my husband and I both be so engaged in our kids' education and in what is it that they're learning. And homeschooling for us is not just only when we sit down and we are reading something or working in a book. Really, we are able to make connections in our daily living. We go to the store and we're able to make connections. The most beautiful thing happened the other day. We went to the mall. We hadn't gone there in like forever. And there were certain toys on clearances, and our kids had brought their allowance money in case they saw something they wanted to buy. There was this table area where the toys were on clearance. They were a certain percentage of clearance. I don't know if it was 40% off. And then if you bought 2 toys, you would get 1 at 50% off. So my son was there, and it hadn't even dawned on me the second deal, buy 1, get 1 50% off. And he comes over to my daughter and he tells her, "Hey, Mamie, you should buy that toy, because if you buy that toy, that means it's gonna be for you only $2.50, because I'm buying one too, and mine has the discounted price of, I think it was like $5.99, I think it was." And then he was like, "With yours, the sale price is $4.99, but with the 50% off, if we combine ours together, yours is only gonna be $2.50. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is a beautiful thing. Look at that. Math happening in action, something they learned with us. And then there's May taking out all her quarters from her purse, counting to see how much she had, like $3 in quarters. So she had the perfect amount of money, but it was just such a beautiful thing. I did not initiate that. That was initiated by my son. And I was just so proud of him in that moment, and of my daughter, and them two working it out and, collaborating on how they were going to make this purchase. It was just a beautiful thing. My husband and I were very proud. We are able to just, any aspect of our life has become a learning opportunity, and we can tie it in, because homeschooling really is not just about the books. It has become just a daily life thing. We've become lifelong learners, and we really wanted to foster that in our kids. Our 4th reason is freedom. The freedom on when, where, how, and with what we were going to teach our kids. We love having that freedom. It is amazing. We can choose if we want to teach our kids in the weekends, in the afternoons, in the mornings, whenever it is that we fit it in our schedule, which we have a schedule, and I've talked about that before. If you want to check out some videos on that, you can. I will go ahead and put in the description box below my blog post on creating a homeschool schedule and how important I feel that is. And there you can see like an example of how we homeschool. But the freedom to choose if we are homeschooling here at home, if we were homeschooling outside, if we are homeschooling at grandma's, if we are homeschooling in the car, like when is homeschooling happening, we get to choose that. We get to choose the curriculum. My husband hates Common Core math, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm very open about this too. I hate it too. So one of the very first things that we ventured out to do was to find a curriculum that was faith-based. It wove our faith into every single little aspect, and that it was not a Common Core math. So we had the freedom to choose that. We chose that. We chose a curriculum that really suits our family very well, and that is Becca. If you're interested in seeing my unboxings and reviews on that, you can go ahead and check that too in my channel. We love having that freedom. And our very last reason, number 5, I kind of mentioned it in reason number 3, is that we want our children to be lifelong learners. We don't want learning just to be about when you are in a building from 8 to 3 or whatever the time is. Learning happens every day, all the time. And we want to go ahead and put that in them. We want them to want to learn. We want them to want to, for themselves, initiate wanting to look for things, researching, finding out more information about something. That this doesn't have to happen only when you receive an assignment. This is a lifelong thing. If you want to improve yourself, if you want to even learn more about your faith and God's word, you have to initiate that research yourself. You have to want to learn and seek out. And that is a lifelong life skills that they're going to need, you know, in any aspect of their lives. So we really love fostering that. We want them to have grit. We want them to have, you know, not a fixed mindset, but a growth mindset. So we have loved how homeschooling has given us that opportunity to work with our children in that area. The important thing about having these reasons down and know why homeschooling is that when the difficult moments come, when you are feeling so down, so burnt out, like, why in the world did I choose to do this? This is not going how I planned. You are going to be able to look at these reasons, whatever your reasons are, and that's what's going to move you forward. That's what happened with us. Our first year homeschooling, there were so many challenges for us and so many hardships when it came to like my physical health and losing of a pregnancy and all these factors that came that we did not plan for. It was a hard year. Yes, we were burnt out that year, but these 5 core reasons just propelled us forward. Again, before I let you go, I want you to know that homeschooling is not the best option for everybody. It's not. And I have, you know, different friends that are like, yeah, that's not for me. And great, there's nothing wrong with that. I used to think homeschooling wasn't for me neither. You know, I don't feel like anybody should be judged or feel bad because they don't homeschool or because they don't have the opportunity to homeschool. Like I said, every family is different, every family's needs are different, and every family is in a different season of their life. Do not let your choice to homeschool be driven by somebody else. Okay, that needs to be a choice you make on your own. If you are feeling that God is calling you to homeschool, pray about it. Ask God for wisdom. Ask Him to be your guide throughout this whole process, to prepare you, to equip you with everything that you are going to need to be able to take on this endeavor. If you have any further questions for me, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. I always love hearing from you. Thank you so much for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye.